Hey guys, we're here. Made it out to beautiful Prince Edward Island. We're in the Green Gables area, right on the. They say it's on the ocean. It's actually on a little bay. Anyway, we're glad to be out here. We had a long day yesterday traveling, and we're here. So from our spot here, we got some water over there. Further out on there is New London Bay, and on the other side of that point there is wide open ocean in the Gulf of St. Lawrence. This is our chariot here. Wound up with a Chrysler Pacifica. I had the option of having a Tahoe, but it's just not quite big enough. The third row and the behind the third row just doesn't have the room of the Suburban. This had the most room. I had mistaken thinking that they said town and country because I was expecting it was going to be a high-end model. It's not, and it's actually quite uncomfortable to drive because of the dash sticks right into my knee, but it rides like butter, and there's plenty of room and the kids are comfy, so that's good. So the back of the property is actually quite nice. Got somebody on a jet ski coming out here. This is a small bay, and the main ocean is over there. You can see past that far row of trees. I mean, it's not ocean, but it's Gulf of St. Lawrence. That's big water. I wouldn't exactly call it beach, but it is sand. And it's real pretty, that nice red sand. I don't know how well it'll turn out in the video, but it's really vivid when you're here. It's beautiful country out here. It's really, really nice. Like I say, I don't know how well this turns out, but this is really quite vivid. Not like anything we see in Ontario. Whole island's like this. So we're kind of like most of the way to low tide right now. You can see pretty well where it comes up to high tide. It makes a big difference. It kind of turns into swamp, honestly, whenever it gets down to low tide. You know what? We'll take it. It's a beautiful place. We can stay for the week, be away from everything, and we're really enjoying it so far. Kids have really been enjoying picking up the various different seashells and stuff that we don't get back home. This really is nice. I love the water. I prefer being on it as opposed to in it, but it is just beautiful. That farm over there is just so darn pretty from here. I don't know how well you can see that. This is just my pocket too, a little small camera, but that is so pretty. Anyway, on to some questions. Hold Reset has a great question about catastrophic lost days. He says, I have a question on catastrophic lost days that you mentioned. This is the last thing that seems to be holding me up from continuing in my uptrend in returns. Could you speak to the process of removing these days? I feel like over time I grow more capable of learning where I'm in danger. Through learning multiple times, just get the hang of avoiding them. Is that right? Well, yeah. I mean, with any luck, that's where you wind up. And that's how I got there, was through the experience of having them and, going through that suffering. But there is a better way. If you can, and one thing I say is, like, if you're going to be successful at this long term and consistently successful, you've got to remove all those days. You can't have any catastrophic loss days. They have to be zero. You have to have zero of them. And it may sound almost impossible, but it's really not that hard. The discipline is difficult. But what I suggest and what I do myself is you have to implement that into your trading plan, where it has to be 100% written out of your trading plan. Like, you cannot have a catastrophic loss day, even one. Very hard and fast max loss per day, very hard and fast max loss per week and per month, so that no matter what happens, you never let yourself get in a worse position. You can get back the very next day, and ideally the very next trade. And if you have a couple of bad days in a row, if you can't get it all back on the next trade, at least you can get it back on the next day. And if you wind up worse than that, you got to take a week off, come back fresh. So those things need to be hard written into your trade plan, and you need to follow them religiously. If you do that right, you will never ever have a catastrophic loss day again. A couple of quick questions on platforms. Brian Schwarzentuber says that he finds Quant Tower is good. I might do a little more research on Quant Tower because it's offered natively through AMP. The data is cheap and it has tick charts. So I'm going to take a look at that. He likes it. I've had other people tell me they like that too. And also, Benny Ford has a question. What do I think about NinjaTrader? I like NinjaTrader. I don't use it anymore because the brokers that I were using didn't support it anymore after NinjaTrader had their own brokerage. But I think it's a great software. I know guys who are using it now. that I talk to back and forth, and they like it. It's been stable. It's great software. I really enjoyed using it. Alan Wong, what do you think about the value of backtesting? If you do it, how would you recommend going about it? I don't really backtest anymore, but I did an awful lot of backtesting over the years. Tons of it, especially when I was swing trading, when I was trying to system trade. Um, Backtesting, when you're a discretionary trader, can be useful, but it's not the same as if you're a systems trader. Backtesting in general is flawed because it makes you over optimize, and you can optimize a certain degree. It's very good and necessary, but if you optimize too much, you'll find that you'll make something that works perfect for the last month's market or last 6 months market and won't work really that well for the next month or 6 months market. So backtesting for me has been more about going back and forward testing, past data. I did a lot of that before. Just either were through market replay. NinjaTrader used to have great market replay. I believe TradingView has it too. I think Sierra does, but I don't know. I imagine they must. But going back and forward testing sessions that have already happened, you can bang out a few of those in an evening if you want. You can speed the bars up a little bit, etc. But I don't recommend speeding the bars up really for actual practice trading. But if you're just looking to try and find setups and then see if those setups work, that works very well. So to me, as a discretionary trader, actual traditional backtesting is of limited value, except of just looking for setups in the chart and see if they work out or not. Because you don't see the technical data at the same time, right? You can't see that. Now you might be able to rig that up where you can replay multiple instruments. That's not something that I've done. I'm sure it's possible, but I don't know. So for a purely discretionary trader, like guided discretionary trading, like I like to call what I do, very limited value in backtesting, except for looking for previous setups, minus the technicals, but at least the shapes, and then see if they work out. And then, of course, much more valuable to me is forward testing or practice trading in real time with previous data. And the benefit of that, of course, is you can do it any time of the day you want. You can replay a New York Open at 10 o'clock at night if that's the time that you have to research or practice. So that's what I think about that, Alan. Of course, if you're a systems trader, backtesting is much more important. And whatever works for you, if it works, no sense changing it. By the way, thanks all of you guys for your best wishes on a good vacation. We're on like day 2, I guess, now. And so far it's been great. I really appreciate that. And also thanks for your best wishes on my wife's recovery. She's feeling much better. She's still very sore and not getting around the way she normally would, but bit by bit getting better. And overall, we're just happy to be here and making the best of everything. So I appreciate that. Now, Jim has a question. Nice to hear from you as always, Jim. Jim is doing really well, by the way. He hasn't been doing this that long, and he's just absolutely killing it. So I'm really proud of him. Question, do I still use Tick Strike? Yes, I do. I don't always have it open, but I often do have it open. I just turn the volume down on it. I really like Tick Strike. Is it absolutely necessary? No. But it's just one of those things, it came up and it's something I found interesting. And for the cost, it certainly was worthwhile for me. And, it's there to use when I want it. It's more, I don't really use it as a guide to get into a trade, but it gives me a little extra confidence to stay in the trade once it's on. So I do still use it, just not, the main thing is the chart. That's what I'm looking at most of the time in the quote board. But it is on and I still do use it. I think it's a great tool. The whole tide thing is really fascinating for me because, I'm in Ontario, so we're far away from any salt water and the ocean in general. We have Lake Ontario, which is still a good couple hours away from me at best case. That's the biggest water we've got, the St. Lawrence Seaway. But seeing the tide come in and out is just really cool. It's very foreign. It's something I've only seen really a few times in my life, and I just love it. It's not so pretty at low tide, but it's just really cool getting to see the water rushing all the way back out into the ocean right now. Sweet Lemon has a question. He's just gone through an evaluation account and failed, unfortunately, but that's okay. I think that happens pretty often. Again, I'm not putting my opinion out there on prop traders. I'm not really big on the whole prop trading idea. However, I have heard from some of you guys who are doing it successfully, so it is definitely a possible thing. I mean, the odds of success are low, but the odds of success are low in this game in general. So congratulations to you guys who are doing it. One fellow from Germany, I don't have your name right in front of me on my phone here, but very interestingly told me that over there, and this is ridiculous, it's crazy, but um, they can only claim so much of their losses against their wins. So he gave me an example of something like if you had, say, a net profit on the year, I'm just making this up, but you had a net profit of 50 grand at the end of the year, okay? But say throughout that, you had a total of like 200,000 in wins and 150,000 in losses, okay? You could only claim the first 40 or 80 grand or something of those losses against your wins. So you could wind up somewhere where you're break even, but still owe a ton of taxes. So that's crazy. That's in Germany, and apparently it's just new. So in that case, yeah, you would want to be setting up an LLC in the U.S. or in some other country, and either that or prop trading would make a lot more sense. And just one more for today. Going to try and keep it short so I can actually get this done and uploaded. From Timmy Gee in the UK. Ever any times you trade multiple times per day? Well, if you look back through the videos, you will see it, Timmy. But if I get a win on the first trade, that's it. I won't take a second. If I take a loss or break even on the first trade, I'll almost always take another one. And most of the time can get things back positive. And if I can, I'll try and at least not have a big loss day, try and get out for break even, whatever. If things aren't going well though, I cut it quickly, and I won't keep trying if I'm not feeling it or not, I don't have a good handle on the market. Anyway, guys, I better get going. Keep your questions and comments coming. There'll hopefully be another one of these this week. Grab my cheat sheet newsletter at daytradernextdoor.com. Thank you so much for watching. As always, have a fantastic day, and I'll see you again soon.